They laughed when I stayed quiet, not because I failed to respond, but because silence made them uncomfortable. In a world addicted to noise, confidence is measured by how loudly someone speaks, not by how clearly they think. They mistook my calm for fear, my restraint for surrender. Every joke thrown in my direction, every dismissive smile, every whispered insult was meant to provoke a reaction. And when none came, they assumed they had already won. What they didn't understand was this: silence isn't absence, it's awareness. While they entertained themselves with mockery, I was learning who they really were. People reveal their character most clearly when they believe no consequences exist. Their laughter wasn't power. It was carelessness. Silence gave me distance, and distance gave me perspective. While they competed for attention, approval, and validation, I stepped back and observed patterns they couldn't see. I noticed who panicked under pressure, who relied on shortcuts, and who confused confidence with competence. The louder they became, the more predictable their behavior grew. They spoke too freely, promised too quickly, and reacted emotionally when challenged. That's when I realized something important: real power doesn't rush. It studies. It waits. Silence sharpened my patience into strategy, allowing me to think clearly while others drowned in their own noise. They assumed silence meant ignorance. That assumption became their second mistake. I heard everything: casual conversations, careless confessions, and moments of arrogance disguised as confidence. They spoke openly around me because they believed I didn't matter. And when people feel safe from accountability, they expose everything. I didn't respond emotionally because emotion clouds judgment. Instead, I stored information quietly, knowing that timing matters more than force. Loud revenge is impulsive and short-lived. Quiet revenge is precise, controlled, and permanent. The shift didn't begin with confrontation. It never does. It started with subtle changes, missed opportunities, delayed responses, small misunderstandings that slowly stacked up. Nothing dramatic. Nothing obvious. To them, it felt like bad luck or coincidence. To me, it felt like momentum building. I didn't push outcomes aggressively or interfere directly. I made small adjustments and let human nature take care of the rest. Silence allowed every change to feel natural rather than forced, invisible rather than suspicious. As pressure increased, cracks appeared where confidence once lived. Trust weakened. Conversations shifted. Suspicion replaced certainty. They began blaming one another, revisiting past decisions, questioning alliances they once relied on. The unity that made them strong started collapsing from the inside. I watched calmly, understanding that people who build power on ego struggle the most when control slips away. The more chaotic they became, the more disciplined I stayed. Silence kept my focus sharp while panic blinded them. Desperation makes people loud. It makes them reckless. As their grip weakened, they rushed decisions, spoke without thinking, and trusted the wrong voices. Every move they made followed patterns I had already studied. Silence wasn't hiding me, it was protecting me. While they exposed themselves through reaction, I remained composed. The balance of power had shifted long before they became aware of it. They were reacting to problems whose outcomes were already decided. There came a moment when the laughter stopped, not suddenly, but awkwardly. Conversations lowered when I entered the room. Eye contact was avoided. Confidence disappeared from their voices. They sensed something had changed, even if they couldn't explain it. I hadn't changed my behavior. I was still calm. Still quiet. Still observant. But now, silence carried weight. What once amused them now unsettled them. Awareness arrived too late. I didn't announce victory. I didn't confront anyone or demand acknowledgement. True power doesn't seek validation. Recognition came quietly, in hesitation, in restraint, in the way they chose their words more carefully around me. Silence had transformed from something they mocked into something they respected. Not because I proved myself, but because outcomes spoke louder than explanations ever could. This was never about revenge fueled by anger. Anger is loud and impatient. This was about balance, allowing actions to meet consequences without interference. Silence gave me clarity when others lost control. It taught me restraint, discipline, and the strength of waiting. People fear loud threats, but they respect quiet certainty. And respect changes behavior more effectively than fear ever will. They laughed at me because I stayed quiet. They stopped laughing when silence started winning. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't explain my intentions. I waited. I observed. I let time do the work. Silence isn't empty. It's focused. It's strategic. And when used correctly, it doesn't need noise to take everything, it does it quietly.